stars. Yeah.
That's true.
Like, she does the thing. She's an icon.
I like her in Michelle Buteau's show, too.
She's fantastic.
She's, like, fully fagging out, and I love that for her.
Yes. She knows how to do, like, drama and comedy expertly, but that was a good... Why Did I Get Married is, like... If I was ever like, okay, you got to be like at least one movie, I probably would name that first. And there's one other one I can't think of or what it is that's like, oh, this was a half decent movie too.
Would you do a Tyler Perry movie if it meant that it... I really don't think you're ready. I mean, I know you saw the thumbnail, and so you know who it is. But just let me have my fucking moment, okay? This is very gaggy. This is very gaggy territory that we're in right now. The fact that we're able to get this guest to come into this studio and be ghetto with me, I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. This episode's gonna be very good because we've got one of your faves, and honestly, like, it's embarrassing how much of a fave this person is to me. I like to get drunk and then randomly DM this person. And so I was scared when I asked them to be on the show because I was like, damn, I hope this person doesn't think this is like a stalker situation. But that's just how much I appreciate everything that this person has done. So let's run down the resume, shall we? So number one, you probably know them as a Miami native, an OG YouTuber, but YouTuber turned writer, turned stand-up comedian, turned just butch queen supremacist, and honestly just always in our hands, whether it be on our phones, on our laptops, on our TVs, giving us consistent quality humorous content for years. They've just been a consistent voice, and so I'm very, very proud, very grateful to be able to have this person in the studio. What is their name? It's not Big Curry. It's not Ted Murray. It's not Rick Purry. It's Kid Fury. Where do I want to start? So
great, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a very good look. I mean, you're always very stylish, so this is cute.
Thank you so much. I was afraid I was gonna like give, what is the golf phrase, on the iron?
I have no
on the
idea
green, whatever.
Oh, on the green, I think.
Yeah, like just vary that. But thank you.
Great.
You look great as well.
Thanks. I just pulled this out of the back of my closet.
You're one of the few people that I know that can pull off skinny jeans.
Thank you. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Because you've got that thing back there.
My mama.
Need that elasticity.
Also, apparently I'm 73.1% Nigerian.
73.1% Nigerian?
That's what 23andMe said.
Word.
Loving it.
What else did it say?
18 point something Ghanaian, Liberian, Sierra Leonean.
Word.
Like 96.4 sub-Saharan Africa. Like I'm black. And
opulent like black.
2.3% European, Spanish, Portuguese, Ashkenazi Jewish.
Same. Shalom.
Okay.
4% East Asian.
Work. Yeah. I love that.
So when people were like, I'm not in that relationship anymore, but she was a Filipino woman, and so people were like, oh, you're in a interracial relationship. I'm like, no, we're not.
Little do you know, hun.
Same sex and same race.
There you go.
So what made you go with a stage name over just your name?
Because my name is, my birth name is so bland. It is so bland. My name is Gregory Smith. First of all, there was already a white boy with that name in Hollywood. I don't know what she does anymore, but he was in the movie Small Soldiers. He was on a show on like the WB or something. So there's already like a Gregory Smith out there in Hollywood, but I've always just felt like my name was very, very boring. I asked my mom at one point when I was younger where she got it from, and she was like, I don't know, we moved to the States and just went through Yellow Pages and looked for, because my mom's name starts with a G and so does my dad. And so she alleges she looked through the Yellow Pages and just picked a G name. I think she was trolling, but.
It's kind of crazy that That's kind of crazy. Is that a family thing that everyone has like the same letter, like the starting?
In my immediate family, 2 G's, my parents, and then 3 boys with G's.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Real throaty names.
Yeah.
Do you
They
feel
love
like
it too. They celebrate. I think my dad's Wi-Fi is 5 G's. Like,
work daddy?
yeah, he loves it.
Do you feel like your name aged well? Like, do you still feel like it reflects
My stage
who you are?
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Because as far as like the kid part of it, I look at folks like Kid Capri and folks that are older than me that have the name, and I just don't feel like it. I feel like also I love anime, I love video games, I have Issa Rae's Barbie, like 3 of them, and I donated like another 3 to like children's hospital. I bought a lot of those Barbies.
You said I have a surplus of dollars.
So like I still have like a kitty nature and tapped into like a lot of the stuff that I grew up with, and then the Fury. I mean, I think I wear that on my sleeve.
You said what?
I feel like I wear the Fury on my sleeve.
You do.
Really hiding that part.
I thought you were an Aries for the longest time.
I am a fire sign, but I'm a Sag.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that.
Aries.
Say it again.
I've dated a couple of Aries. I don't know how I've dated like an Aries or 2, a few Leos. It feels like I always end up with another fire sign.
I think we just like chaos, just like very light chaos.
Yeah.
Like, don't ruin my life, but make it interesting.
Because I'll ruin yours.
Dating a Leo, if you get chosen by a Leo, I just feel like that is a great opportunity for you to really show your stuff, be a full bad bitch.
I have no other choice, or it won't last long.
You don't.
Yeah.
Because I got to bring that shit up out of you.
Yeah.
Like, we both got to be bad bitches together.
Yeah.
Be True Studios is not only the official sponsor of the Jade Fox Show, but it is women founded and operated, which means it always smells good, there's always toilet paper, and there's always soap in the bathrooms. You know how we do. Here you'll find creative spaces where you can shoot your content, connect with like-minded folks, and as the name suggests, be true. Need somewhere to host your next event? BTS is just one click away. So click the link in the description to learn more about Be True Studios and for booking. And remember the Be True motto: feel inspired, get creative, and be true. On with the show. So you had a successful podcast called The Read for over 10 years. You had the same job for 10 years. One of many, but.
This is the only job I've probably kept for more than 2. Thank you.
Congrats. Congrats.
Yeah.
So you have this podcast with your coworker and good friend, Crissle.
Mm-hmm. What's
the key to a long-standing, great work relationship?
I'm trying to think of it. It just didn't sound like super vanilla and bland, but it really is respect. It's respect. And I think that like we probably don't struggle so much with respecting one another as it sounds shady, as maybe other like co-hosts might, because we started as friends. And the reason that I was so drawn to the idea of us doing an entertainment show together is because our friendly banter was
it's hilarious.
It always entertained me. Like, I love laughing with her. I've always loved her sense of humor and the fact that she does not try to be funny.
She's a comedian.
She won't accept that.
Like,
I
Crissle,
keep saying it.
Just accept it. You're a fucking comedian.
So fucking funny. Her timing is great. Like, she just makes me laugh. And I've always like appreciated our friendship and the fun in that, but then also she's very also like kind of a big sister like nature to it. So I think really we lucked up in that we really love each other and we're friends first. And so anytime that, we've rarely bumped heads or had any disagreements. He was just like, if she don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. If you don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. If you got something to say about her, it's it's really just kind of been that way. And if we have any concerns or whatever, we talk to each other on the back end. But a lot of podcasts and shows today, hosts are kind of put together and maybe, you know, they don't know each other or, you know, have as tight a bond as she and I do. So I don't know. I guess like if you don't, it probably would benefit a lot of people to go on like chemistry, go on like dates, you know, like go be friends for real in real life and work on like the communication and like really seeing one another or however many people, and then talking it out. Because I feel like a lot of the times when people bump into like rockiness with each other, at least in like entertainment spaces with working with them, it could easily be fixed.
I agree.
And when it's like on platforms that people are watching and commenting and consuming and have their opinions, and they got something to say, for some people it adds like another layer of like, you know, discomfort or maybe insecurity and stuff like that. But she and I, we just, if there's anything that comes up, we just talk about it. And she's like I literally would not do another podcast with somebody else because it won't be as much fun.
It won't be the same.
It won't be as fun.
Yeah. And it's been fun to, first of all, it's genuinely a joy to be a fan of this podcast. And it is a joy to be a fan of you and to be a fan of Crissle, because I feel like, what other piece of content have I kept up with for 10 fucking years? You know what I mean? Like, there are shows that I stopped watching like after the third episode.
True.
And I just have to say, as one Black queer person, to you, like, the Read is such a valuable space.
Thank you.
It gives me something to do while I'm washing my dishes. It gives me something to escape to. And I know that I'm not just speaking for myself. I know that there's a lot of people who really value what the Read gives them. So thank you.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing or capable of. It was just like, well, better than being unemployed, I guess. At least for me, she fully had a full-time job, but like,
it was a cultural shift.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anyone who's like, which I don't, whatever, y'all go do y'all podcast anyway. But like, as I'm on a podcast, like, I feel like anyone who's coming out with a new podcast, like, that you guys are the ones that people tend to model their shit after.
Thank you.
Because y'all just do it so well.
It's very sweet. I mean, we really don't give ourselves like credit. We super don't take ourselves seriously. But it's nice at least to know that we just naturally and organically as homies created something that people really value and still, like you said, listen to 11 fucking years later.
Yeah. Like,
consistently is really great, and people still feel like it's, because I really give myself a hard time over just performance and like, is it still fresh? Is this boring? And I try to add a new bit and then get tired of the bit or whatever. But usually when I tap in, people are just like, girl, we're having a really good time and appreciate you. And and like, it's also really beautiful as someone who is Black and queer and grew up bullied and isolated and stuff. It's really cool to know that by way of what we're doing, people that we don't even know care about us. Not are just like entertained by the show or like the show, like they really care about our well-being and our health and feelings and all that kind of stuff. And that is like indescribable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm grateful.
Congratulations, Crissle, for graduating school. Yay.
I'm coming out there in a couple of days and we are going to get so drunk.
What is your drink of choice?
I'm gonna be honest, George Clooney and the Amigos got me in a chokehold, and I'm trying my best. Like, I'm trying to just move, because I am a cognac girl. Like, I am a true Southern, like, dark liquor drinking nigga. And so typically for me, it was Hennessy, you know, Jay-Z by way of Beyonce, and then Megan Thee Stallion got me to drink Douce for a bit. But I really like tequila. And I feel like Casamigos is a perfectly fine and affordable tequila. I'm sure many, many people will tap in and be like, get this one instead, it's way better. And I will try it. I will try, because like I said, when I go up to where y'all got Casamigo, I feel so basic. I feel so basic. But I also feel like the culture, like we always have like the liquor brand of the moment.
We do.
And then we move on.
I love how is tequila Mexican?
I think so. I'm
pretty sure it's Mexican.
pretty sure tequila is Mexican.
Yeah.
Latinx
Latinx liquor.
Yeah.
Like, I just love how Black people made tequila pop. What can't we do?
A white man's tequila brand.
What can't we do?
I mean, our power is just
Infinite.
cosmic and like it is just something that's indescribable, and the girlies cannot take when we hype ourselves up. But come on, globally, we decide what the things are.
You see the material always. Know that. This is more so a bit of advice for the single studs at home who are employed watching this.
Before you move on, let me double check that this is on silent.
Okay.
And it wasn't.
Work. So
Classy.
for
The
the
studs.
for the single studs with good jobs, full hairlines at home,
Yeah.
what is a bit of advice that you would give to them if they are someone who wants to approach Crissle? Or you, because I've heard you every now and then dibbling dabbling in the...
Shout out to my very, 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 very good friend, DJ Dimples, all the way down, Dade County baby like me. She has been the founder of Sweet Heat, which is like Miami Pride for Women. And I would attend that. I loved that event, like Black Pride specifically for queer women and femmes and stuff, way more than ours. Like,
It's way
more than us.
Way
it is
different.
so different. In like the 7 or so back-to-back years that I went, barely saw a fight. Everybody was there to look good, meet somebody, get lit, enjoy Miami and the sun and all that other stuff. Whereas, no shade, a lot of our pride, especially when I was younger, we out there just beating the hell out of each other and, you know, boosting. And that's still kind of the thing, but I've grown to live with it. Anyway, I have experienced and been in the presence of a stud or two where I'm like, well, what is my sexuality?
Let's revisit this conversation.
And they're also like, they were always so nice and sweet to me. Everybody was really sweet to me when I was in Sweet Heat. So, yeah. I mean, with Crissle, I don't know. I feel like Crissle, oh, she's going to kill me. I feel like, you know how she talks a good game about things like that. But I think Crissle, in her heart of hearts, is a girl. And I honestly think that, like, yeah, if you a decent nigga, you got a job, you got things going for yourself, slide on in that lady's DMs and pay her a compliment.
Yeah.
Say something you don't think she said or she's heard before.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Send her like a Cash App or something, or Venmo. Congratulations for graduating, because you have a reverence for educated Black women. Like,
she's really not stuffy. She's not going to bite you. You know what I mean? Like, she really isn't. But yeah, why not hit my girl if she is very accomplished? She's very hardworking. She's a good woman with a good head on her shoulders. She don't be busting up people's apartments and stuff like that anymore. You know, we've all evolved.
we've listened to the episodes of the Reads Past.
Yeah. We wear our hearts and our history on our sleeve. But yeah, go on and jump in that lady's DMs. Give her a howdy do, say something, you know. I don't know. This is the thing though. Like, I feel like studs are, okay, you have to tell me from your perspective, right? I just feel like most of the studs I've come across are far more adept at wooing or like courting.
Oh,
than
yeah. What?
Anybody else. Like, full stop. I'm not even gonna say like men or like, I think full stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Are just better at coming up with like really sexy or romantic or emotionally elegant ideas to approach someone. So honestly, You probably don't need no damn help from me. You probably got plenty of ideas, but
True.
yeah.
I feel like studs, the ones that we're talking about, like they have, you know, they've laced their Stacey Adams and they've got the jet on standby for whomever says yes to that date. And I've never dated a stud, but I need to pour into me. So maybe I should.
That is an excellent point. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to like come up with some sort of stud board of romantic affairs. No, that's not a good acronym. I'll think of something else. But like, I want to come up with like a panel of studs that can just train all you.
The next generation of studs.
Not only just this generation of people. On
Yes.
to like
how to be good people, how to be community members, how to
niggas
court.
are fully taking us down to like Qdoba and being like, you want some tomatoes too, or
Right.
And that's courtship.
Chips and no salsa.
What am I mean, and I love Qdoba when I could eat it, but I mean, girl, come on now. Let's
Okay.
do something new.
I always feel like I just got back into the dating world, even though, okay, I'm lying. I'm single. I have not dated anyone,
Right.
but I feel like the level of, like, I feel that pressure to like really come correct on a date. But sometimes there's just something, I'm avoidant, so maybe that's why, but I just feel like there's something too much about it. Like if there's like a lot of production behind a date, I'm like, ugh, I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it, and I can only speak for me, right? And I feel like Crissle would probably agree, but for me, it's less about like the like production and bells and whistles and more so just like the thought behind it. You know, if you hear, for instance, that, you know, I'm getting into dance or something like that, I've been taking or whatever, and you take me on a date that ends up being some movement class, or, you know, you have a friend of yours who's a choreographer come and give it, I don't know, it's just like, it doesn't have to be like a huge thing that's going to take your whole week and all of your attention to plan. If you want to do something like that too, great. I'm not saying no, do it. But I don't know. I think there's just a little bit when it comes to like romance, courting, dating, I think you get the best results when you really hear someone, feel someone, process the things that you're absorbing when you're around that person, and then make choices when you're pouring into them that reflect those things.
Agreed.
Right? So it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, I really, really like this person. I have to buy them a Tiffany bracelet, and then we have the da-da-da-da-da, like, you know, unless you're dating a city girl, then you probably should just listen to them when they speak, and then, you know, maybe do something nice that is attributed to that.
Agreed. And that's what lesbians do.
That is exactly what lesbians do.
That's our middle fucking name. The
Like-
L should be for listening, because
The drama be that y'all love each other too much.
yes. Can I talk about my breakup for a second? Because it was the most, okay, wait. So we were like, okay, we're breaking up. But then I was like, okay, but if we're going to break up, like, how do we help each other set each other up for like the lives that we want, even though we're not going to be together? And so I fully flew to Hawaii, where she lives now, and I like got her set up, and we were just walking on the beach, and I'm like, are we broken up? This is romantic as fuck. Like people get engaged here. Like literally we saw an engagement happen.
Right.
We just love, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But you're so good at it. It has to be just like way more effective and intoxicating and hard to like let go of.
And then we orgasm like 47 times in an hour.
Which is just something I don't even have words for. I think at least like the body assigned to those parts deserves that at the very least. Because the other things that happen to that body, and then the things that happen to that body that you don't even have like
Control
policy
over.
or control.
I woke up to my stomach hurting. I woke up bloating today.
Yeah.
Because my body decided that that's what it wanted to do. I have to talk to you about when you met Beyonce. That's a real thing.
I will never be tired of talking about this.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
What do you want to know? She smelled great. She looked great. She's finer in person. She is unbelievably kind and gregarious. We were talking about angels.
An angel on earth. Because the Renaissance tour that wasn't a concert. That was, I levitated.
Yeah.
During that concert.
Yeah.
There were points, I don't think that I was quiet at one point, and then when I remember, like when it was over, it almost felt like I was in like a car accident or something, where it was just like, what? I was like in shock, like what just happened to me? I've
had that experience after a few Beyonce concerts, but Renaissance was, I fully agree. It was not a concert.
It was something
I don't even
else.
feel like experience is the right word. It was
transformative.
It was transformative. It was like it was a capsule of time and energy. And if you did not go to that show and you wanted to, God bless you. I hope you at least saw the movie, bro.
That's our Woodstock.
Not even Coachella. That was our Woodstock.
That.
Yes.
Which show did you go to?
I went to the first one.
Okay.
Here? I think. Yeah. I was in Inglewood. But I'm pretty sure it was the first show she did. And then she had like her birthday show, I think was that weekend too. I heard that one went up. Diana Ross came out of that one, right? Diana Ross was at that one.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sang happy birthday, did the whole thing. Let me just say, I don't usually spend a lot of money on things. I have never spent that amount of money so quickly. And the thing is, you know what that music video where it says is like energy. Everything is energy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this money is just energy. So it's like, I'm gonna spend this money, but I know I'm gonna have my fucking life change.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. Like when people are like, oh, God is talking through me. God is speaking through me right now. Like that was Beyonce. Like Beyonce was in my body, in my limbs. As I'm jumping up and down, she's in my feet. She's in my ear. She's in my heart. She's in my soul.
It's one of those things also, if you've been to a show, it's kind of like you chuck that money directly into the wood chipper because, like you said, it's like,
you're going to be different.
This will be worth it. This will be worth it. And so, yeah, it's like one of those things, and we've said this on the podcast for the longest time, is just create a Beyonce savings fund. Put a little aside just every now and then. And before you know it, this lady's going to announce a tour and you are going to have floor seat money. If this is what you and I cannot believe I got to meet this performer and actually speak words to her face after Renaissance, pre-Cowboy Carter. She didn't even do it. And Blue Ivy was there.
Collecting invoices, I'm sure.
That girl's got the things. I think she's gonna like be a director or something. No shade.
No, I see it. Like even like creative director vibes.
Very Solange.
Very Solange. Just making artisanal glass.
Yeah. Furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Build it. Like I think she might be a full architect.
I can see that for her.
Yeah.
She's like, be anything she wants to be.
I've already been on tour. Like I have a Grammy. Like, girl, I don't need to do the expected. Yeah.
So when you met her, did anything change? Like, did anything change for you after you met Beyonce? Like, were you looking at life differently? Were you looking at your work differently?
1,000%. Like, so bad that it's almost a little embarrassing. Because, like, I mean, it's Beyonce. Like, I feel like people who aren't into, like, pop culture probably are like, oh, I don't know who my favorite, blah, blah, blah. You know, they'll, like, scoff at it. But I've said for my whole life how I appreciate her way past just her immense, unspeakable talent, all those things. Her work ethic is something that I strive to come even closer. There's a couple of people I could say that the same thing about, obviously, like Issa Rae's work ethic is insane. Lena Waithe's work ethic is fucking crazy. I'm just talking about people who I've met or got a chance to work with, that I've always just been like really, really inspired by. Beyonce is one of those people too. And then obviously there's the art, but meeting her off of the strength of the read, it definitely made me look at myself and my work differently, because it meant that the 10, 11 years that we had been doing it, and people like you who have supported it, I think I said this, but it felt like a crowd surf. Like, it felt like everybody who has supported the read for all of this time kind of crowd surfed us into that room. And that was like, one of the most powerful things I think I've felt personally in terms of emotion, just because it's like, you don't just meet Beyonce, girl.
No.
And you don't meet Beyonce.
That was crafted for you. It's not like you just ran into her on the street, which wouldn't happen anyway. That was crafted for you. And she knew y'all.
So being able to, after that, I don't know. I was kind of just in a daze for a while, because the circumstances in which that took place were really beautiful and personal. And it made me feel like happy to be alive. It made me feel like motivated to keep working hard to support the stuff that I've been doing up to this point. So yeah, it was more than just like meeting the best entertainer, period. It was how and why and when and all that other stuff too. So yeah,
that's beautiful.
Really cool.
I felt like I met Beyonce. Like, I feel like it just felt right. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Y'all met Beyonce. It was just, once again, it's like part of that. It's fun being a fan of you. It's fun to like see the journey and to see where the read has gone, and like y'all had a show, and just like everything that has come out of the read is just really exciting.
Thank you.
And I'm also just happy to see Black queer people take up fucking space, honestly.
It's great.
So you mentioned Issa Rae, mentioned Lena. Did you set out to have like mentors? Like, how did your relationship with these people like come to fruition?
You're gonna make me say nice things about myself.
You have to.
I'm
know.
going to. I guess similar to the Beyonce thing, really, like, it became a thing where it's like, holy shit, this person knows who we are. And that kind of stuff happened naturally with Issa. God, I don't even remember what award she had won. Drew is the Golden Globe, Emmy, I don't know. She'd won an award, and she was up on stage doing the typical thing Issa does, which is champion for Black people and Black art and visibility. And one of the things that she randomly said in her speech was, you know, Crissle and Kid Fury from The Read deserve a TV show by now or something. And we were like, huh? Like, huh? I think we had met her before, because when her book came out, Crissle hosted like the book launch or signing or something like that in Harlem. But she was just like openly supportive, consistently, all the time. And by the time Rap Shit came around, you know, I still gagged when she asked me to be a part of the writer's room for that show.
Rap Shit was so good.
Girl, I'm so proud of that show. I'm happy that we even created something where people still to this day are like, I can't believe it got canceled. It's better that, you know, it got canceled and people are mad about it than it got canceled and people don't give a shit.
True.
Obviously, people were enjoying it. But yeah, as a Black kid from Miami, I cannot tell you how specific a lot of that was to growing up in South Florida, and how few projects, scripted projects specifically, have reflected the Black parts of Miami in a way that is like honest. So I'm very proud of the work that we did, and really happy that we got to do that. And with Lena, it was the same thing. It was like I had sold a show pilot actually to HBO some years ago. And this is when she still was dreaded up It was like a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing her thing. She had just been scooping up awards for Master of None. And she had a meeting with HBO at some point and she brought me up and was like, you know, Kiffer is amazing. You need to, and I think they were like, oh, we know, we just met with him. And she was like, if you don't make this pilot, which they didn't, she was like, if you don't make this pilot, y'all are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, she kind of brought me under her wing. And to this day, will still like send me a text or something and say, I'm thinking of you, I love you, if you need anything, whatever. So I think I just got lucky. I think I got lucky that whatever
You've also been doing the work.
Yeah, whatever I was doing was impactful or broad enough that it got attention of people I really respect, that cared enough to like see me progress and or help me progress. So that's kind of how at least those things worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I went to your show, your Netflix is a Joke show, for Life is Better. Amazing job, by the way.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you do stand-up in...
I had to be like
6 years, 7 years. It was a long ass. I actually have a photo, insert photo. I think I like badgered your manager. I was like, and she's like, let me take a picture with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually just getting back into stand-up after taking a very long time away from it.
Cool.
Thanks. And like one of the notes that my mentor gave me, she was like, always be in the room. Like basically meaning if it was hard for people to find their seats, like take note of that. Or if the lights are a weird color, like take note of that, like stuff like that. Has there been any like feedback or notes that you've gotten on your stand-up that you feel like has really helped out, taking it to the next level?
There's been a couple of things like at the Netflix is a Joke fest, a very, very, very funny comic friend of mine named Rob Hayes. He thankfully agreed to open the show, and he gave me like after my performance, he was like, "This chunk of it is like, there's like a lot of room to expand on this particular thing. Because if you think about it like this, like that," and I was like, "You're absolutely right." And I went home and was like writing. But the only other thing that I remember recently getting advice for was actually really, really, really simple. And it was from Mateen Stewart. It was back in December. I did a show. I did the first 2 shows. And he was just like, when you come on stage, move the mic stand back. What was it? Because I would always just like, my whole time I would always just like take the mic off and I would just kind of like fidget with the stand or whatever and then move around it. And he kind of helped me realize that it's distracting a bit and it's best to just like move it out of the way when you start the show up and like open the stage up for you to play with.
Got it.
And so that was one of the most recent pieces of like stand-up advice that kind of was like a light bulb for me, as simple as it is.
Why stand-up? Because you have the podcast, you can make a YouTube video if you want to, but like, what is it about stand-up in particular that you're like, no, I need to do that?
I just talk too much. I don't know. I think that, I mean, I grew up watching Def Comedy Jam, BT Comic View, like a lot of the pretty iconic Black comics of the 90s and 2000s, most of whom are horribly problematic right now, but I kind of like grew up watching a lot of their stuff and obsessing over it as much as I did sitcoms. And I just feel like stand-up is like a great storytelling platform and advice. And I like obsess over stories, whether I'm telling them or reading them or watching them, playing them. So I think it was a mixture of like being fascinated / terrified of the environment. And then it was also just the desire to be considered a comedian and not just like, because a lot of the time prior to when I really, really got into stand-up, a lot of people would say, you know, he's a YouTuber or he's a blogger or a podcast host, and I am those things, but they're all centered in comedy. And I knew that outside of joking around on those platforms, I've always had the desire to write and produce and act and do these things as well in the comedic space. So I think that I kind of just wanted to really establish myself and my name as a comedian first, who also hosts a podcast and all those other things. And yeah, I've seen comedian under my name more now than I used to. So yeah, I think that's really why I did it.
Did you take the kind of traditional route of just like open mics and just doing a shit ton of shows?
Yeah, there really was. My cousin Mike Brown, another stand-up comic up in New York, incredibly talented. He was like, even before I moved to New York, he would let me come stay with him and encourage me and stuff like that. So he kind of like gave me my first sort of like advice and walkthrough, took me to some open mics, had me perform at an open mic or two. I got to bomb for the first time. So,
how was that?
It was awful. It was awful. I mean, it was like internally awful. It was like no one threw anything at me. It just, you know, it was a good way to just feel it.
It's like rejection therapy.
Yeah, exactly. And then like know how it feels, how to get better, what to work on and stuff like that. It's like what, like I don't even know if this is true, but how there's the story that like in police academy or whatever, you have to get tased. I don't know if that's true or if it's just like a rumor, but I've heard and seen in shows and stuff before where like when you're training to be a cop, they have to tase you before they give you a taser, so you like experience what you're putting other people through or something. I don't know.
What's the learning process for that?
Myth. Right. But
what are we doing?
That's like think what bombing felt like. It was like, okay, well, there's not as much of a reason to fear this because like
there's so many factors at play too, where it's like the audience could be tired. What time is the show? Like there's just so many things. Like, is it in your, are you actually bombing? You know, like I remember when I did mine a couple of days ago, the difference that I noticed was like not quite as far as like Gerard Carmichael of just like letting there be silence, but I think I learned that like, oh, a couple seconds of silence isn't the worst fucking thing that can happen.
Sometimes it's exactly what a joke needs.
Exactly.
And like their audiences are, well, again, it really depends on the audience, but a lot of audiences are fully prepared for a few seconds of silence. It's like not the worst. But that was the thing that kind of helped me as well to kind of build a little bit of confidence outside of like doing open mics and stuff like that. It's just putting myself in position to perform as much as possible, whether it was on my own tour or doing some other stuff.
We can promote these shows.
The early ones? Oh, absolutely not. No. I didn't tell nobody about that. I don't think I said anything about doing stand-up like publicly until I did my first like show that I sold tickets for under my name. Because I was way too afraid that I was not good. But the more that you do it, the more that you start to realize that there are the different circumstances and parameters around what makes a show. There are like it crowd could be tired. It could be just some cities and some places are just a little bit more recluse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not big at being loud and rowdy. And then you have, you know, Atlanta. So DC.
Which that makes me, as a fan, I mean, I'm from the DMV, so that made me very happy to know that DC was a crowd that bullies y'all into like constantly coming to the city.
Yeah, every time.
Was there ever a gig that you regret doing?
In general? I feel like the only thing that comes to mind is that one time we, for whatever reason, had Stevie J come into our studio.
I was hoping you would bring that up.
It was like early read days. Like we had to have been doing it for a matter of just a few months. And nobody wanted
That was iconic.
He was in the studio. There were other podcasts on the network. I think he was on the Combat Jack show. It was like in the studio next to us. And our producer, Chris, came into the room and was like, Stevie J's here. Like, you guys never had a guest before. You want to talk to him? He's down to come in here. And I don't even remember. We weren't like, yeah. I don't know why we agreed to it. We were just kind of like, I feel like I remember Crissle saying, if I can ask him about the ways in which he embarrasses women and his daughter, then he can come talk to us. I'm pretty sure she said that.
That sounds like something she would say.
And for whatever reason, he still came and talked to us. And well, if you heard it, you know how that went. So it's probably the one thing where I was like, I could have lived without that experience.
Got it.
But I mean, we got him together and then he left. So
yeah, I feel like it's in the. I mean, the show's been on for so long. It's like I probably can't do a top 10, but in the top 20 things to have ever happened on the show, that's one of them.
Yeah, that's definitely at least top 20 because it was fully ridiculous. And we've never had a guest since then that we genuinely did not want to talk to. Since then, we were just like, first of all, we don't care to have like the podcast guest, meaning I have blank to promote, and this show runs on guests, so that means like everything ever since we just like to talk to each other, to be honest with you. Even a lot of guests we did have, because they were people that we really wanted to talk to, I would get anxiety. And so then that wouldn't be fun. You know what I mean? Like we'd have Trina come in, or there was a time that we talked to Jennifer Lewis. Kelly Rowland came on the show, Jasmine Sullivan came on the show, Issa came on the show. And those were interviews where prior to it, I was just like, when are we going to get this AI thing going so someone else can do this interview but me? Like, I was dying some of those times, but it was way more fulfilling and fun to have conversations with people that you genuinely want to like talk to and don't despise. So we just stuck to interviewing and speaking to people that we both agreed were cool. Because sometimes it'd be something where it was just like, oh, I want for this person. And Chris would be like, I don't. Okay, we're not. Or vice versa, right? So.
Did y'all choose the guests for your Vice show?
We did. We definitely had like yes, no. Like there was no one that I think we had interviewed on the Vice show that we weren't interested in talking to. I mean, honest, the only person that we interviewed on the show who I wasn't super, super familiar with was Anthony Ramos, because I had never seen Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
But Crissle knew who he was because she had seen it and loved it. And so she was down to talk to him. So I was like, okay, cool. And he ended up being really, really, really cool. And since then, I've seen him in 1,000,010 things. But other than that, like, everyone else there were definitely people who they threw at us that were like, have you heard of us? Like, did you want to talk to this person?
Y'all with Young and May, that was fun.
That was a blast.
Because that came out around the same time she released her own strap and that porno. And I definitely talked about both at the time.
She was really fine because I was like, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I was just like, she a young nigga from Brooklyn. This is a comedy show. I don't know what she gives in terms of her. But she was like really
cool.
friendly, very cool. She was with all of the jokes and she was very charismatic. It was fun.
And Aries, I'm pretty sure too.
There it is. Wishing her the best. You know, I haven't seen much of her lately. I know she would have some health issues.
She just came out during one of Nicki's shows, I think, on her tour. Yeah. And the crowd went bananas. Yeah. Super happy for her. Okay, last question. So you've had this successful podcast, done stand-up, in writers' rooms, selling shows. Are you where you thought you would be currently right now? Like back when you had the pink wall? The salmon wall?
I don't know if I'm where I thought I would be. I'm definitely like on the grounds of the place I wanted to go, for sure. And I definitely had to have some sense of belief that I could do it, because I wasn't super in school for any particular like skill or anything like that. Like I didn't do a ton of classes on writing or comedy or anything like that. And both of my parents are country Jamaican. So, you know, my mom, I think, was supportive in a lot of what I was doing because she saw that I was very passionate about it. And so she was, you know, fully down to support my passions, even if she didn't fully get it. But my father, for a little while, was just like, okay, what is this? Like, that's cute, but like, when do we get like a real job? So like, obviously there was some kind of a fire within myself that was like, girl, you can do this. Like, you got something. So I don't think younger Salmon Wall me would gag, but he would be like really, really excited. She'd be really, really excited and grateful because she was getting no sleep.
Do your parents watch your stuff or listen to the pod?
If they do, they're very good at keeping it secret, and they're not good at keeping secrets, so I don't think so. I don't. My mama does sneak and listen to some every now and then, but she will always crack and tell me that she did. She knows that I don't want her to. But the person who does fan out is my mom's mom, my grandmother. I think she watched Rap Shit. She listens to episodes of the podcast. Anytime, she'll probably watch this, no shade.
Here you go.
Hi, Grandma. I just sent her some flowers.
Lovely.
Yeah, but I request them to stay as far away from it. I cuss. I won't. But I'm not going to stop.
And I just be talking, like, sometimes I forget that, like, this is going to go on the internet because I feel like I grew up in the era of, like, whatever you posted on social media could get you fired. Like, I feel like that was, like, a thing that was going around. And so I think, like, I've internalized that a little bit. So it's like I can't have my parents watch my stuff because I'm like, y'all really don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to find out.
You're going to find out.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your parents, but my parents are the type who will investigate anyway. Like, not investigate, interrogate anyway. I told you not to listen to this damn podcast. I told you not to. So don't ask me what a fleet is. I'm not talking to you about this. I'm not talking to you about
It's crazy how you're not listening now. Isn't that wild?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, a matter of fact, if I tell you, if I answer the question, you probably stop listening. So maybe I should go ahead and
reverse psychology. Boom.
Now you don't want to know. Great.
Game time.
Love games.
I'm going to give you the choice. You got 2 games. One is more of an activity, and one is a game.
Okay.
So the one activity is kind of like our listener letters. People call in, they leave voicemails, usually asking for advice about their very messy situations in their life. So that's one thing that we could do. And we listen to them blind, live. Here.
Okay.
So I haven't listened to them. I have no idea what these people are saying.
Nice.
The other option, which is the game, I couldn't think of a creative name for it, but I found out that a lot of lesbian sex positions sound like weed strains.
Interesting.
And I know that you have a reverence for lesbians, which we now know, and then also marijuana. Mm-hmm. So I felt like that could be a game that we could play. So
sounds way more fun.
Okay, boom. We're going to do that.
Lesbian sex positions and weed, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's kind of hard.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yes.
The welcome back.
The welcome back. Is this a sex position or a strain of weed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe on the Patreon version of this, I'll put the little, like, examples of what it is, if it is a sex position.
I want to guess that the welcome back is a sex position because I'm thinking of, like, you, like, pat someone on the back after seeing them.
Kind gesture.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like an exchange of feelings and emotions when you haven't seen someone for a while. That's got to be a sex position.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's correct. That's correct. All right, second one. Wave pool.
This could go either way.
Exactly.
That's a tough one. Wave pool. I'm going to guess weed. Because I'm thinking of the time that I almost drowned in a wave pool when I was around 8 or 9. It was at Rapids, I think, water park somewhere in Florida. My cousin was so mad at me because I grabbed onto him when I was flailing around in the water. So the lifeguard pulled both our asses out the pool. He was livid. Anyway, so in the way that I was lost and upside down and didn't know left from right, I feel like wave pool is probably a strain of weed that fucks you up. It's weed.
That's a sex position.
Girl!
That's a sex position. I thought that was kind of like a dead giveaway, though. Wave pool, waters running rapidly.
It's just too easy. I just felt like it was like, wave pools is just too easy to be a sex position. What kind of sex position is that?
I feel like, so the reason why I have this game in the first place is because one of my exes has this little tiny book of just lesbian sex positions, and I was just thumbing through it one day. Bad choice of words. And, there were images of everything, and so I would bring them and like show people as they, I don't have that anymore.
That's so funny. Well, I'm gonna Google it.
No. Cinderella.
That needs to be a weed strain, though. Come on.
Wave pool?
Yes.
Absolutely. Young and May. Chop Chop. Lesbian small businesses.
Matching strap. It should be aquamarine.
I don't know why. Like, it makes sense that it would be her skin tone. It's literally her. Like, it makes sense. But for some reason, that freaks me out.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that.
I was just like, also, don't use straps that aren't your skin tone.
Why?
People do that.
I know.
It's so weird.
It's very weird.
It's so weird. It's crazy because, like, whatever. Y'all gonna work through it yourselves. But yeah, Cinderella.
Cinderella.
I can see something with a foot.
Yeah, I'm thinking feet.
Something foot related.
I don't know how this would.
My big toe on like the back of.
Why would it be a weed strain though? Unless it like gets you so fucked up that you don't realize what time it is, and then you're like, oh fuck, I forgot to pick my baby up from the sitter, and then you run out the club and you leave your Air Forces behind, and you get home and you take the baby home, and then you realize, oh fuck, I'm gonna eat all the baby snacks for tomorrow, so I should probably get on Instagram. I want to say, is it weed strain?
Yep, it's weed. This Uber turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
See,
but one could be a sexy foot thing.
Maybe the evolution of this game is we just make them both. Whatever's weed, we figure out what the sex position of, because like we're creative, we're lesbians, right? We figure out what the sex position version of it, and whatever's the sex position, we make it into a weed strain that then supports
sex position. Genius. Genius.
Wonder Woman.
Gotta be sex. Gotta be sex.
It's weed.
Really?
That's weed. It's marijuana.
What about Wonder Woman gives me high?
Wonder Woman gives me on top vibes.
She literally lives on an island where it's just women, and they're all bad bitches and super strong and like fling each other around for fun. She has a rope.
Yep.
How is Wonder Woman not gay?
I don't know. I feel like Wonder Woman needs to team up with whoever the handsome studs that we were talking about at the top of the hour and just create a whole new civilization of bad bitch, crime fighting, fucking really considerate. Like,
on top of that, her lasso makes you tell the truth. She's had love stories with Batman quite a few times and a few other male characters. I don't think she's ever been portrayed as like gay, but I could be wrong. But yeah, she's been with men a few times. I'm just like, girl, how?
Just try it out. Wonder Woman gives bi, no shade.
1000%.
Like, she gives very much bisexual energy.
I feel like she would fully use that lasso on her stud and be like, where were you?
Get over here. It's true.
Her jet is DL. She has an invisible plane.
This is writing itself at this point.
I don't understand how Wonder Woman wasn't
like,
in this position. But yeah, you're right. It probably will be now. Because that one was wide open. Sorry, that was
wide.
Wrong.
Sweet Tooth. These are hard.
These are really hard. Sugar weed.
Yep.
Okay. Because I'm like, how would that?
Yeah, I don't know anything teeth related. I don't think I would fuck with that.
Yeah.
But knowing us, would...
Like, maybe I would assume it involves, like, dessert or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's big for the whipped cream in the bedroom.
Which, count me out.
For what?
Gross.
For what?
Gross. I don't even like, you know when you try to, like, pour something into another cup and then it, instead of pouring directly into the cup, it pours down the side. Like, it's that. Like, I'm not doing it. Keep it. Yeah, I hate. That's actually one of my pet peeves. Like, no, don't keep your outside clothes on the bed, but also no eating in bed. I can't. Sugar rush.
It feels like it could be a strain similar to Sweet Tooth. These are really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I've really done a sugar rush. I'm just gonna guess sex position.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
And I don't know how, but like,
I wish I had that book.
I feel like that should have been reversed. Like, sugar rush should have been the strain and Sweet Tooth was the sex position. No, Sweet Tooth was the strain.
Weed. Yeah.
And sugar rush, no, never mind. Those make sense.
Mm-hmm. Prison break.
Prison break?
Prison break. Which feels a little on the nose, like queerness in prison.
Oh my goodness. And girl, if you've ever watched Prison Break 2, it's just like, oh my goodness, the jokes. Prison Break. I really, you know what? I don't know, but I want it to be a sex position, so that's what I'm gonna guess.
It is.
Thank God.
I'm gonna screenshot this and text it to you because I want you to be able to Google these later.
Oh my goodness, I have to look these up. Like, a lot of them I could guess, but I need to know what Sugar Rush and Prison Break are doing. Prison Break, that is great.
Prison break.
I love that. Is it two studs? What do you...
Maybe there's like special uniforms and bars included. Oh. I forget about those.
I do forget. I'm not big on haircuts and Betty.
Me either. I went through a I'm kinky phase. Like, I went through that and it was like, girl, it was like, where's the cheap place like you get sex toys? Spencer's?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like getting little like sex juices and shit from Spencer's and like.
And then you get home and like, I spent $37.95 on a whole bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like none of it.
Okay. Polyurethane penis.
Right.
Wedding cake. This is easy.
That's a weed strain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've smoked that.
All right. 3 more. Happy days.
Because I'm hearing the theme song of Happy Days in my head. That's why I'm laughing. Happy days. Weed strain?
That's sex.
How? I mean, well,
What do you do?
Happy days just sounds like it should be the weed like.
They all sound positive, except for the prison break. I need to figure out what
I mean, well, unless you're in prison, that is positive.
Yeah. And the wave pool. I want to figure out what's going on over there.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Happy days is a sex position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll take it. I would like to see it,
Yeah.
as Monique would say. High voltage.
That one's weed.
That's sex.
High voltage, girly.
That doesn't even make sense for lesbian sex, though. High voltage? What? No, what was that?
I was gonna say toys.
That makes sense.
It has to involve electronics.
I love when you like freshly charge a piece because it's always like, you know, I was talking about how it's like stronger.
Yeah, it's more like intense, like on a full charge than when it's dying. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Pot of gold.
That's gotta be sex.
No. That's marijuana. That's that Mary Jane.
I mean, I can see it as a strain too, but god damn. That one, like, okay, what we have discovered here is that all of these are brand opportunities.
1000%.
Each and every single one of them has the opportunity to be the other.
So
both. So
young man, if you're
whether
watching.
you're making sex or weed, you've learned something here today.
If you got the IP from here, though, like, run me a check, okay? If this is your inspo.
And also, like, if you go with the wave pool story, like, a cute 5%, I'm not really asking for that much. Because, I mean, come on. The story that I gave for a wave pool of being a weed strain is...
Solid. It's solid material.
Like, what else would it be, right?
I also think that wave pool as a sex position could be something that is exclusive to lesbians who have waves. And I'm saying that because it's me. But, like, I would
prefer it be that first.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way more clever and I feel like way more common in lesbian sex.
And it
at
gives
least
you a goal.
Our lesbian sex. Right.
Like something to work towards.
Or something to work towards. Because wave pool on the obvious stand front for sex just sounds like a lot of cleaning up.
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of cleaning up.
Yeah. I remember I had an ex once who, she was just like, she was like, I just get so wet, like all the good, and she's like bragging. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, you understand. Okay, there's two thoughts that I had. One, it's not always the liquid you think it is.
Hello.
Two, you don't get depressed. Like, you don't have a bad day. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a sponge, and it's the reverse aspect.
I just think that that's like the body.
Yeah.
It's very normal, you know. I don't even know when I have ever given a sort of expectation for what my sex will be, you know. I'm usually just like, well, hey,
Blind react.
we'll see. Right, like, we'll see what today's giving.
All right, boy films.
Wait.
You never know what you're gonna get.
And the ending does not make sense.
That's Kid Fury, everybody.
Hello.
Done.
That was so fun.
Yay. Was it gaggy or was it not gaggy? You let me know. If you want to support the show, if you want to make sure that we keep getting these iconic guests, Kaylani just followed me on Instagram, and I feel like that means something, guys. So, listen, keep talking about the show, keep sharing the clips, share it with your friends, share it with your parents, let them know what happens in the community. This is community work. So if you want to support the show, the link for Patreon is down in the description. Run them pockets. Give me them ducats. Give me them fucking coins, sis. We are trying to make it all on our own. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Once again, empty the pockets.